Hey everybody, Snigby here from Snigby Gaming. Welcome back. Getting ready to jump in and do another Factorio playthrough. I'm in the 18 update, so I went ahead and updated to 18. They're on 18.3 looks like. This will be my first time getting in since they did the update. I haven't played much over the last month. I've been working on a big project from work. As we get started, I would like to thank everybody for your support, and if you like this content, please consider subscribing. This is also a fair warning that content is not intended for children under the age of 13. So if you're under age 13, please exit the video now. There may be some content that's not appropriate for children in any of my videos. So with that being said and the legalities out of the way, let's go ahead and get started and talk about what I want to do for this series here. Basically, I think I want to make a bot base. I launched my first rocket last time. That was pretty exciting to get done. I only have, let's see here, how many hours of Factorio have I played? Looks like 163 hours. I think I watched it about 159. I think I mentioned how many hours I'd played in the last one. But yeah, I played this quite a few hours, had a lot of good fun with it. Did not build a satellite, so I didn't get any space science. But with that being said, I didn't use a single bot to build anything. So what I want to do on this one is actually rush for bots and allow the bots to build a fairly large base. I don't know how large I'm going to go. We'll make that decision later on down the road. The other thing that I want to do is really minimize the use of other people's blueprints. Especially for like building out the green circuits, red circuits. I'll use their designs, but I'm going to go ahead and build them myself and then blueprint it. On the mall, I've been playing with the Catherine of Skies malls. I like them, and I'll probably build something that's similar to that. However, I think I want to go ahead and build out my own mall so that I really understand what's going into that. So there's not a lot of great content there where Snigby here is the best Factorio player, going to go out there and optimize everything. I'm going to go ahead and build it through a brute force method. If I need to have more input, I'm going to build another array. If I need to have more gears, I'm going to build out a bunch of gears. So anyway, we're going to figure out this as we go through, but my big picture here is I'm going to rush through to get to the to bots and allow bots to build as much as they can. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and spend a little bit of time here figuring out what my map's going to look like. I am planning on not playing with biters. So we'll see here. So enemy, I'm not going to play with any biters. I'm going to play with research queue always on, so I can set these up and set it and forget it until they finish off there. Since I'm not playing with biters, I'm going to turn off pollution. Don't need that. So those are the things I'm going to do. I've actually played a couple of games with biters, and yeah, they're all right, but at this point, they're really just an annoyance. I am going to go ahead and research all of the military science, but I may put that at a lower tier. The reason I'll be researching military science is to go ahead and get the upgrades on the armor. Yeah, so you got to go ahead and do that. All right. So with that being said, last thing, no cliffs. The cliffs are just annoying, especially if you're not using biters. I mean, if you're using biters playing with cliffs, you can use those to make a good defensive stand. Kind of nice there, but I'm not going to go ahead and use those. So we're going to go ahead and turn those off here. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pause for a second, get me a map going, and we'll take a look and we'll figure out what we're going to do here. All right, so I think I found the seed. I'm going to go ahead and log into here and run through. Looks like I've been searching through these for about 5 or 7 minutes, looking at this and playing around with some of these things, playing with very high richness on the ore so I don't have to go out, but I did keep the frequency and the size the same, except for crude oil. I went ahead and bumped up the size of crude oil. I really don't want to have to truck liquids around. If I find some, I want to go ahead and make sure I have a lot of throughput so that I can build out a refinery that meets my desires, if you will. One of the things I was looking for here was not a lot of trees, and as you can see, there's not a lot of trees in this desert world, but there are a few. I may have to search to get my initial lumber. Looks like there's some up here. There's going to be some around, so I'll be able to get enough lumber to do the initial power poles. I went ahead and put the water back to normal because I started thinking about it. I'm like, it'd be kind of nice to play with the challenge of having to do a little bit of land filling if I needed some area up here as we get going or anything like that. So I wanted to do that. I also wanted to look for a coal near water so I could actually have a dedicated power line going down through here, power coal. That way I can have all this coal for my smelting needs. Don't have to worry about prioritizing that. So we'll get that to going at some point and we go through here. So let's go ahead and we'll copy this exchange seed. Put this on my notepad over here and see what it looks like when we log in. All right, so first things first. What are the first things you got to do? Got to go and chop some rock. See if any of these have coal in it. Don't look like it. How about these? Yep, there's coal rock. And a few trees, so don't have a lot of trees, but the ones I do see I'm going to have to pick up so I could have some, what are those things called? Power poles. All right, let's go ahead and make a bunch of those. And we'll just go ahead and clear up this stone here so we get a good head start on our stone. Actually, before I do that, let's go ahead and put a drill down over here. We'll put some coal down here for now. What else can we make? Not much right now. All right. Get those going while I chop up some more of these stone here. Oh. Big sandy rock. I don't think I've ever seen that one before. All right, looks like we've got all of those taken care of. We'll come take care of this one. And we'll make all of those. Put the burner miner here. All right, next thing I want to do is go ahead and get some coal going here. So we will do our typical get some coal going. All right. Now it's a little bit of a waiting game. I'll go ahead and won't bore you with too much of this this bit here. We'll go ahead and build one box, place it down, and get rid of those because I just don't need them. More of those and more of those when we get done. All right, so this is voiceover Snigby here, just talking about what you're seeing here. I've sped up the next 10 minutes or so of the video to double speed. So what you'll really see here is me going through the initial base setup. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to get several miners on iron. Then you want to move down and get some miners on coal. After you get the miners on coal, then you want to come back up and start getting your copper. Now, I probably should have put a few more miners on coal first before I started getting the copper. That did slow me down just a little bit on the coal production. Matter of fact, right here, I started thinking, I'm going to go ahead and put another 5 miners down. And I thought better of it. I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and put these down here on our coal so we can get a better coal production and work through that. And this actually does, over time, help me out quite a bit to get the coal going through. Right here, you'll notice that I'm picking up and dropping off coal fairly quickly. You hold down your control key and left click to pick things up. Control key and right click will put half a stack down of half whatever you're holding into the inventory of whatever you're hovering over. And if you do shift and right click, it puts basically a full stack down. So for the next few minutes here, I really was just running back and forth and filling up miners. Pretty standard fare if you ever see very much Factorio content. At this point, I'm also starting to think about what am I going to do next as I get this going through. But right now, it's really just feeding the beast. VoiceOver Snigby's back. Right now I'm setting up my research queue, my initial queue here. Typical fare, go ahead and do automation, go ahead and do the circuits, then do the inserters, move into steel, get the faster pick, and wrap up with lighting. Won't be doing a lot of lighting here early, so forgive me if this is dark on YouTube. Alright, so at this point I'm actually running through and picking up the trees that I'm going to need for power poles. You don't, trees are the bane of any Factorio world. They're the worst. There needs to be a better way of getting rid of those. But you do need a lot of lumber right at the very beginning to at least get your early power poles going. Once you get into the place where you can start building medium power poles and everything and large, and getting into substations, that makes a big difference. But right now I was just really picking up the basic materials that I need, and then I had enough coal here that I felt I was comfortable enough to go ahead and move on up and start my power array. So that's where we'll come back with you in just a moment. Alright, so at this point I'm moving up to get my power going, and this patch of coal that you're going to see here just to the north is the main reason that I chose this world. I wanted to have a dedicated coal patch for my power, so that I could go ahead and run this without worrying about taking away the coal that I might need for smelting later on down the road. This is a typical a power array. Put in the offshore pump, put in a couple of undergrounds to let you have a little bit of room between the water and the everything else. If I had to do it over again, I'd probably bring it another little further south. I may go back and rebuild that now that I'm watching this to allow me to have a power array to the north as well. That way I can run one belt and actually power instead of four of these, it'll be 20 boilers and 40 power units. I'll actually be able to run 40 and 80. So we'll go ahead and come back with you in just 1 second. Alrighty, here's my power. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. See me do some those Factorio things that people always do, things that really aren't that important in the grand scheme of things. I was trying to get my power stretched out the way I wanted it, and they kept connecting up to the wrong place. So I'm going to fix some power lines here for a second. Take some time, but it's kind of fun. Anyway, we'll be back with you to wrap this up with non-voiceover Snigbee at the end here. And I'll just put a little splitter there and it will be just fine. All right, so we've got power. I'm going to go ahead and stretch this power pole back down to my base. Let me see here if I can make a radar. Very nice. We'll get that radar made and placed in up here first. This looks like a wonderful place for a radar. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and, how far down do I need to come? Maybe to here? Shift click and put a pugos there, okay. Give me an idea how far down I need to come. All right, and here I'm actually going to start by putting down a couple of these bad boys and then take and do that, and we should get automation started. Nice. All right, so I think what I'll do is I will stop here. I have my first science completed. I've got the basics ready to go. I've got a little power array going with its own dedicated coal mine. I've got the basics of iron and copper running. I need to get some coal or stone down here turning into these stone furnaces. We'll get that going here in a minute. But now that I have this, I can actually create some assembly machines and really start going to town. We'll go ahead and get some of these inserters going as well. And yeah, so the next time you come back, I'll go ahead and work with you on getting a few other things going as we go forward. So anyway, this is Snigbee signing off, everybody. Have a great day. And a reminder, if you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing. Give me a thumbs up, and we'll keep this series going. Anyway, everybody, have a great day. Bye-bye.